Yes, Ms. Sellers?
This is really for Mr. Neville. Are you going to be addressing why Wade isn't here? Because I would have thought this morning we would have had that.
Madam Chair, Ms. Sellers, no, there's no prepared remarks on the governor's appointment.
Is there a reason? I mean, I'm sure you know something. We don't know as a board. You haven't reached out to us to tell us. We talked to you the day that it happened, and there was nothing on our end. And I would like to know what is behind the scenes why Wade was removed.
Ms. Sellers, I believe I sent you the exact language that the governor's office sent me, so you know what I know.
How did they get his attendance?
How did they get his attendance? I don't know.
So you didn't know anything about this on the day that it happened?
Ms. Sellers, you've asked more than one question. We'll turn it over to legal to answer that.
Sure, Madam Chair, Ms. Sellers. As Mr. Neville said, I think Ms. Carruthers said at the beginning of the meeting, the governor's office sent us a letter on May 5th revoking the appointment of Mr. Steen and appointing Mr. Bishop to the board. So we're following the direction of the governor's office, and Mr. Bishop has been sworn in as a seated board member. So we really don't have anything further to say on that at this time. I think there's been a lot of public comment around potential litigation, so I would caution the board about discussing it any further in public session.
He was one of our co-board members, and we didn't even have a common courtesy.
So as I said, Ms. Sellers, we received notice from the governor's office on May 5th via letter, via email, and Mr. Neville passed that along to everyone. That's really all we have to say about it. Mr. Bishop's here now. He's been sworn in. He's an official board member.
How did it even get on their radar that there was?
I think that's a question for the governor's office, not for us TRS.
Mr. Foreman?
So just for clarification, this appointment because you are a legal person, it's legal. This is perfectly all right.
As I said, we received a letter from the governor's office that is consistent with the process with any appointing body. You know, the governor, the treasurer, the legislature all have appointments on our board. And when they send us a letter telling us who the appointee is, that's what we go by. So
your answer is yes?
Yes.
Dr. Fichtenbaum?
This is not a question, just a statement, and that is you have to understand that it strains, it's be shocking to me that the governor's office goes around checking on attendance at meetings for all of the appointments that the governor makes. I'll say just personally for what I believe that, you know, the statements, what I'm hearing does not pass the smell test.
Ms. Sellers, if this is still a comment on that, then we need to move on so we can have the order of the business.
When were you told you didn't know one thing about this until the same day that it hit the news? Did you find out through the news like we found out through the news?
Madam Chair, Ms. Sellers, I sent you an email on May 5th, as Ms. Wideman indicated. I found out May 5th, the afternoon May 5th, and I sent the entire board an email on the afternoon May 5th.
When did Mr. Steen find out?
I don't know.
You haven't had a conversation with him?
I have not.
Thank you. We need to move on with the order of business for today.